Johnny's case. See what I'm saying?
Right.
It had nothing to do with the reason why they were there. His grandfather and his grandfather's past had nothing to do with the reason why. And Johnny never really, he might have found out through members like what all happened. Well, Julie found out. That's what it was. Julie found out, and she got all the details because she didn't know. She's like, what? They didn't know because I didn't talk about it. I didn't think it was a good idea. If they
The
needed
less
to hear
said,
it.
the better off.
Yeah, if
The
my
less
dad
said, the
wanted
better
to
off.
share that information with Johnny.
That's right.
And
that was it. And like you said, your father died in 98. You moved to Lynn in 97. Johnny stayed out there for a while. Did Johnny have to do some time in jail over there in
all they would
Obi
do
County?
is they were trying to they would only bust him under suspicion. So there was really no record because if he comes out clean, they just release him. See what
Really?
I'm saying? Yeah, I know.
So he really never did get no charge as far as having drugs or being drunk or
he was on probation for something. And
What
I
was
can't
that
remember
about?
What? Stealing.
stealing.
Well, he was afoot. He didn't have no money, no food.
Oh.
So what else are you gonna do?
So he committed a crime as far as theft.
Well, yeah, because
But that's all they had him on? They didn't have him on some sort of a felony?
I don't think they did. It was petty stuff, but he was on probation. He had a probation officer.
Is that the reason why he had to go ahead and leave from over there and come over here?
Yeah,
come back over
he
here?
had to have it
Because
transferred.
Jude was over there, wasn't he? Wasn't Jude living over there in
Yeah.
Kenton at the time? And then it was, yeah, Jude was over there. Jay.
But-
and then after
yeah.
you got settled in and got your
Yeah.
house here, then Jay come over here and started living with you, right? Over here in Lynn.
Yeah. Well, they said over the phone when Johnny, he paid his fines and stuff, and he worked down at Hatfield at a sawmill. And
Did he
to
ever
pay
work
his
things out
fines.
with the law over there?
Well, they said that Johnny has, as far as she's concerned, that Johnny has paid everything back. She was mad about the way he was treated.
Who was mad?
Someone from Union City, I don't know who she was, some probation officer, I can't remember now.
She was associated with the judicial system over there?
Yeah.
Really?
She liked Johnny. She really did.
Yeah.
She said that Johnny was treated so unfairly that she wishes there was something, but she was powerless against all them.
Well, once more.
But she did tell me
It's the
that.
type of people, it's the type of mentality that you're dealing with over there. And this was in 97, 98, because your father died in 98,
Yeah.
then your mother died. When did your mother die? Right at
She
2000,
died in
wasn't it?
2005.
Was
Yeah.
it 2005?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what year Mama Lucy died? She died right at 2000, didn't she? Or
At 2000, I'm
2001?
pretty sure that's when I was told she died.
2000,
I
yeah.
have to say that about.
Yeah.
I still don't know.
Because you
what she
couldn't make
died
it to the
of.
funeral, right?
No, David told me now he put flowers all over her grave because I wanted her to have flowers on her grave.
Yeah.
And I didn't give her flowers through life, but yeah, I wanted her to have flowers on her grave. And David did. He said he covered her whole grave with
He did.
flowers.
He did.
So I'm like,
He did. He did.
thank you.
He did.
Because I couldn't make it. I
But
didn't
you
have
know,
the money.
Danny worked in that little old town there at Pete Tillman's Chevrolet garage for I guess 4 or 5 years, didn't he?
Buddy?
Huh?
Who?
Danny, my brother.
Oh, that's right. He did. I forgot. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Danny worked there in Pete Tillman's.
Yeah, he did work at Pete Tillman's.
You
I
remember?
think he
You
worked
remember
with Buddy
Ben?
for a
You remember
while.
Ben? That was the parts guy over there.
Yeah.
You remember
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, they worked with Buddy. They hired Buddy. They were the only people in that whole town that would give Buddy a job. They talked about what a bum he was and no good. Well, they wouldn't give him he would go ask.
Right.
Well, you're going to have to go clear. He's like, no.
They
thanks.
cherry pick.
I'm not from
They
here.
cherry
I'm a
pick.
city boy, and you want
They
me to-
cherry pick. But let me ask you a question since you brought up your
No.
your
I don't want to get shot.
your father to your children. Whenever he died, did he get buried up in Maine, where his parents and stuff is?
His parents aren't from there.
I
But
thought
his
he was from Maine.
Grandfather and stuff, they have some migration from Maine. His grandfather, yeah.
So where's he buried at?
He was buried, his urn was buried in Maine, in Winthrop. And I don't know if I like Winthrop. But his mom was from
Winthrop?
Winthrop, Maine. Yeah.
Winthrop, Maine?
Winthrop, Maine. His grandfather passed away up there too. Went up there.
Did you ever go up there?
I haven't. Never been up there.
Never been up there?
No.
Are you familiar with my story a little bit towards what happened to me? This was in 83, whenever Danny married Monica in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Danny married Monica?
Yeah.
See, I have a lot of memories about you and Danny butting up together.
We did for a while.
Did for about, I don't know, it was like a season. It was like it was like a one summer.
I believe
You hung
it's for
around
1
up there
year.
in Sidonia. You remember Rex Harrison? The guy with the long arms?
Yeah, I
You remember
that
him?
guy. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
probably remember the gas station there in Sidonia. Who was it? Marvin and Sis that owned it at the time?
I get.
Marvin
Okay,
and
I
Sis.
remember the gas station because Danny used to hang out at that gas station. I think even work at
we
that
had a
gas
body
station.
shop there.
Okay.
We had a body shop there in
Okay.
Sidonia.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the very same place that Douglas got killed at.
Oh, okay. All right.
With the motorcycle that run into
Yeah.
the tractor.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was during the time that you young lady, during the peace, love, Woodstock era,
Oh, yeah.
wearing the beads,
Yeah.
wearing the bell bottoms,
Yeah, we liked all
you
that.
took that branding iron.
He told me to.
You
I'm like,
took
I
that branding iron after Danny heated that thing up red, glowing hot, and
I
you
know.
stuck that to his freaking side of his freaking shoulder, and you said that put out one of the raunchiest smells. It almost made you sick at your stomach. Did you know that he had to put bandages and he had to mess and keep ointment on that scar? It kept scabbing up and scabbing up. He had to mess with that thing, I know, for a daggum 6 months before it finally healed up like it should have had.
I
Huh?
know. Yeah, I heard it got infected or something.
Yeah,
for a
got
while.
infected.
I'm
He
like,
kept
oh my God.
what it
I
was.
didn't know all
What
that.
it was, it kept itching him, and he would itch it, and he would peel the scab off of it,
Oh,
and then
get
it would
dirt in there,
refester,
and it
and then he'd have to get
refester, yeah.
ointment and put back on it, and he done it continuously. Off just, it took 6 months before that finally healed up. But you was the one that branded him. You took that branding iron and branded my brother just like branding a cow. Just like branding a cow. Gonna
The
put some
skin
sort
was
of a
popping, I know. I'm like, man.
skin was a popping and a snapping, and he just stood there and just grinned and bared it.
I know. Proving his manhood or something. You
Yeah,
know? And
proving
I'm
his
like,
manhood.
I can't. He's like, you can do it. I'm like, I can't. And, the skin and all that. Come on, you can do it. See there.
Do it,
You
do
know,
it, do it.
Yeah.
It was like some sort of like initiation,
Yeah.
like going into some sort of club or something. You know what I'm saying? Some sort of
Yeah,
gang
I
or
know,
something.
I know.
It's like if you don't do this, you're not a man. Like you said, it was like trying to
It's
prove your
scary
manlyhood.
gangbanger nowadays.
Oh, God.
So used to this, It's like
That
you're
was
trying
probably,
this.
hey, all in all, that was probably one of the best summers that you had in Tennessee.
I think maybe it was. Yeah, we were hanging out and just being kids,
Just being kids.
Yeah, yeah,
Just being cool
yeah, yeah.
over there in the
I must have
area.
been 13. I think I just turned 13 too.
Something like that.
We're like, Mom and Dad were cutting us loose. Like,
Yeah.
cool, we can do anything we
Yeah,
want.
we can do anything we want. Do you remember?
They're busy.
Hey, do you remember on the weekends whenever they would have the racing down there, hop in, all those race cars would go down there on that bridge, and they would race on Saturday or Sunday? You remember all those race cars?
I can't remember that.
My
I don't
God,
know if I was down
I
there
know
when
there's
the
probably
race
been
cars were there.
500 race cars down there
Oh,
racing
really?
from bridge to bridge, title for title.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I did my racing in Kenton with Gary Edelman. We both team up, man. Zoom, zoom. I'm like, we're right in town. Let's hit it.
What was
Buddy
that?
in
What was that
jail.
one cop that was a cop there in Kenton for years and years and
Oh, I
years?
can't remember. My mom knew him.
Taylor?
He pulled me over one time because I was speeding.
Was
and
it
I didn't
Taylor?
Have a
Was that
driver's
his name?
license.
No, it wasn't Taylor.
It's somebody Mom knew. Mom and
Yeah,
them knew. Dick Gunters knew.
yeah.
But he, because my grandfather on my mom's side used to be one of the jailers.
Yeah.
You have the black people and stuff coming in, and he was one of the.
Whenever
Yeah.
you was 13 years old, what year do you figure that was? 72?
I got married in '72. It was 70 or 7. It was 70.
It was
'Cause
60,
71, I met
69 or
Buddy-
70,
Buddy.
wasn't it?
Yeah. It was 70, and they were trying to get me, like, married. And
You got
talking
married at
about-
15?
Yeah. I had turned 15.
You married
in
Buddy at
May.
15?
Yeah.
You did.
Well, yeah. It's like,
Was y'all already living back up north at that time?
yeah, we were back up north.
Was
yeah.
you?
I was used to up north, though.
Is that where you met Buddy at?
Yeah. Wasn't the best neighborhood, but yeah.
And y'all started dating
Mm,
or going out?
We were just kind of going out. We were just
Hanging
hanging out,
out.
being friends.
Yeah, well, what made
I
you
actually be friends with his mom first. and
Did you
then
get pregnant? Is that what brought on the
uh-uh.
marriage? Or
We were having sex.
okay, you was having
My mom was like, and my dad's like, you two are gonna have, if you two are
Bed
gonna
down.
have sex with each other, you need to be married. Because of what the Bible says.
Right, right.
My mom was like that.
Sure,
Her
sure.
people were like that.
and
what
of
you're
course
doing-
that was
you're
during and of course
instilling
that
as
was
a
during a
parent.
time that your father was working for
Yeah.
Autocraft up there, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Wasn't that the name of the place, Autocraft?
it was in Berwyn. That's all I know.
Where?
Berwyn. We were in Franklin Park, so I don't know.
Up there in Chicago.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this: how did he get mixed up with the mob?
I do not know. See, he wound up with a girlfriend, young woman.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that has something
that
to do
almost
with
caused
money.
a divorce between your mother and your father.
Yeah.
But he started playing the high card, didn't he?
He did start playing the high card, and a lot of his money went to that girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Well, we're sitting there like, Dad, I need glasses, and you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
can't see good. And,
Was she good looking or something?
I don't know. Carrie and Shane met her. They
Did-
stayed with her on the weekends.
Did
and
she have a
stuff.
lot of money or something?
He gave her money.
He did.
I don't know if she came for money.
Because
I
at the
don't
time,
know.
because at the time he was
I can't remember her name now.
was him working at the body shop. Was that just a front?
She was a secretary there, but I don't know if she knew them guys or what. I don't know.
But he got hooked up with the mob up there in Chicago and started taking those
Doing those
cars from
cars.
Chicago all the way to Atlanta, or from Atlanta back to Chicago, and
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
got him a bad name.
It did give him a bad name.
He got hooked up with the wrong people up there.
He sure did. The money,
The money,
was
the
good and it was
temptation of the
easy,
money.
It was fun. He knew he could do it.
Right.
They're
But
like,
whenever he done that time, that spread in that jail, what was it, about 4 years at federal time? Because I think he turned in state's evidence that they actually had a hit on him. You know that, right?
yeah, he said they did for a while.
Yeah, they had a hit on him.
Yeah.
But did you know that whenever he got out of all that, he really humbled. He
Yeah.
straightened out his life.
Yeah.
He got things right with his wife, which would have been your mother, and they hooked back up, living over there in behind Aunt Lily.
Yeah.
Aunt Lily over there in that
Yeah.
little old trailer where Mama Lucy used to live.
Uh-huh.
And I guess Charles, up until the day he died, him and Patsy both, they was two peas in a pod, and loved living out the Bible, towards reading the Bible and believing in the Bible and studying the Bible.
Yeah.
You did know that your mother, Patsy, before she ever had Donna, before you was ever even thought about, whenever they first got married, they went out to L.A. You remember that?
Yeah,
Remember I'm
I
talking
know
about
that
that?
they had gone to LA and once before when they were young before
Whenever they was young,
I was born.
because
before
mom and
Donna was
dad, mom
born.
and dad went out there.
She got pregnant with me. They went to Hollywood and LA and all that.
So she'd already had Donna.
I think she did because she told me that she had gotten pregnant with me when she was out there, but then they moved back.
And then they moved back to Tennessee.
Chicago. I was born in Chicago.
Oh, you was
I
born in
got a
Chicago?
picture of me when I was a year and a half old in the downtown Chicago where they would rent apartments. And Uncle Bill and Aunt Betty May used to go up there too for work because they could make more money. And
Right.
They liked it. For them, it was fun.
Right.
This place is boring, and they would move.
Right.
And they would go downtown Chicago, and then I guess that started getting
Down
real.
around the loop?
I don't know.
Down
exactly.
around Riverside?
No, this was down in the downtown Chicago. My dad had some uncles.
Down rents to the Sears
On
Tower,
Mama
all the high
Lucy's.
rises?
I don't know if it was on Mama Lucy's side or whose side.
But it was all where all the
Some
high rises is.
Uncle, I don't know if he was an Uncle Frank. I can't remember what his name was. But when we would walk to the store, it was such a rough neighborhood. I remember this, and my mom being that she was a Christian woman and put her faith in Jesus, and in them black neighborhoods that was rough and all that trash and stuff laying all over the parking lot, and hold her hand and walk to the grocery store. I remember all the fences, and I remember the big round barbed wire, because I didn't know what that was.
Sure.
And she said, that's barbed wire. Well, I recognize barbed wire.
Do you
from-
remember Dad losing his cool all the time and getting mad and screaming and hollering at
Yeah.
us kids?
I remember, what I remember about your dad, now he moved up in, was it northern Illinois?
Yeah,
Okay.
up around
We
Fox
would
Lake,
go
Round
and
Lake.
visit,
Yeah,
I don't know how many times a year, maybe twice a year, once a year, because my dad liked playing music, your dad liked playing music.
Right.
They'd be getting together, jamming on that music.
Right.
Banjo. Your dad could play a banjo.
oh yeah.
And David was born. I
Yeah.
remember David when he was little. For some reason, I remember that. And me, and Donna, and Danny, and Douglas, and I think you. I can't remember if you and Carrie were real little. But I know we would get in trouble. We'd be jumping up and down on the buds, and getting all wild.
Was it in that 2-story house right there by Fox Lake, or was it over there in
It was
Antioch?
a 2-story house by Fox Lake. Yeah.
By Fox Lake, that's the part. That's
Yeah,
the area
yeah.
that you remember in.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't remember. what
You remember
name
the
of
little?
town was.
You remember the skip-in store down by the lake,
Skip-in store by
where the
lake.
girls would ride around with the roller skates to be able to go give people food and
I
stuff?
remember, the only thing I remember about the place, and I don't know if I got the places mixed up, is your dad would allow the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to come out there. They had a Boy Scout, Girl Scout little camping thing there that they would do every year.
Listen to me.
And that was
listen to
where
me.
you guys lived.
Listen to me. That wasn't Round Lake. That was Antioch.
Okay.
That was Antioch. And you know what? That was the old house that Al Capone and his brother Frank used to live in because it had a cellar. And your father used to always say that was the spookiest old house that he's ever walked in his entire freaking life. He said every time he walked into that house,
Sounds
he
like
would
my
give him
dad.
the woolies. It had 2 big silos, a milk barn, had a big milk barn, plus a big barn.
Yeah.
And you're right. During the summer months, we would let the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts come out there and sleep on our property because we had a 20-acre spread right there in Antioch.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know that that's where the mystery come into my life at? Was whenever my mother had a visitation by God, and she said that she was in the living room, and David had just been born, and all of a sudden she said it sounded like chariots or like thunder, and it got her attention, and all of a sudden she seen this white glowing light that she said come into the wall, and kept getting closer and closer, and she stood to her feet, and she said, "Oh my Lord, this is the Lord." And she
saw a vision.
She saw a vision, and she got down on her knees, and she gave her heart and her life back over to Christ. And that afternoon, there was probably about 25 or 30 cars, and I didn't know a cotton-picking soul that was in our house. And I thought to myself, isn't this strange? Because, at the time, I wasn't but like 4.5, maybe 5 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we started going to the First Baptist Church up there in Antioch, and Dad, he started going, and man, it wasn't nothing for us to get called on to do a special on Sunday morning to where we'd get up there and entertain them. And I like doing that.
Yeah.
I like doing that.
Yeah, I like doing special music and singing and all that.
Singing and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I was going to go in the choir at church, and
But
I got
but
sick.
do you remember my mother having that?
I don't really specifically remember, but I remember everybody telling me about it. And it took me a while, like, when you hear these jokes, she's seeing things and all that. But now from studying that, what it says about the end times, people will see visions. Jesus Christ wasn't just saying that. He
Right.
said that men will see visions and dream dreams. He's talking about mankind, men and women.
Right, both.
Yeah, and your mom, what she saw was a vision. It could have been from an angel, because he'll send an angel, and whatever personal meaning it had, I don't know.
But you do remember
And she
that.
might not have understood, but what she saw was a vision.
But you do remember the happening.
I didn't.
You remember.
I don't remember the happening. I don't remember it for some reason.
What I'm saying is, you remember the after course as far as everybody talking about it and it occurring.
Yeah.
That it actually occurred.
Yeah. They're saying that it did occur, but see, the people that actually said that it occurred weren't there.
Well, they're all dead now.
No. Like,
Besides that, when we left Chicago, we all left them up there in Chicago. They didn't come down to Tennessee with us.
Yeah.
But the seed that was planted that day in my mother's heart and in my mother's mind remained there. And you know what her interpretation of it was?
What?
She always believed that one of her sons, because she had 4 sons, they was all 4 years apart, Danny, Douglas, Dennis, and David.
Mm-hmm.
All their names started with D. And she always believed that one of her sons was going to be called of God towards becoming a minister or an evangelist.
Wow. You were the one.
I was the one. It wasn't David. It wasn't Douglas.
Yeah.
It wasn't Danny. It was me. And
Yeah.
did you know that because that event happened to our family up there, it followed us down to Tennessee? And that's whenever Dad got cruel to his family. After his father died in 1969, he gave his heart back over to the devil. And the Bible says that if you ever know the ways of righteousness and turn from righteousness, that it would have been better for you to have never known the ways of righteousness than for you to have known it and turned from it, because it leaves room in your heart for 7 more demons. In other words, that's whenever Bobby got crazy.
Yeah.
That's whenever Bobby got mean.
Where the Spirit of Christ is too, then you got the devil's always working and manipulating. So, and it angers him. He gets angry, See,
but that's whenever Dad lost it. And you probably remember this, whenever we had that body shop there in Sidonia.
But, he did turn back again. You know that, don't you?
On his deathbed. On his deathbed.
Well, when I went to see him, and your dad sometimes knew what to do, because I was stressing after going through Ryan and all that stuff, and talking to your dad sometimes would honestly help. And sometimes he would be the only person around there that would help when I needed it, and he would sit down and just talk to me, and that's what I needed. I needed someone to talk to.
Right.
And he gave me a little bit of liquor that really helped, because I was really stressed, this going wrong, that going wrong, my boyfriend and all that, Johnny.
He worked with not only Bill.
But he told me he likes to drink it a little bit, and it's not a sin as long as you're not getting drunk.
But listen to me. He worked with not only Uncle Bill, but he worked with your father, hands-on. A matter of fact, he was the one that taught both of them the craft towards doing auto body work whenever he come from World War II. He learned it off the GI Bill and started teaching Uncle Charles first, and then Uncle Bill picked it up.
Yeah. Yeah, to me,
And did you know that Uncle Bill's still living?
Yeah, and I have that number.
At 86 or 87 years old up there at the lake, he's still living.
I want to give Uncle Bill a call and say hi, and Johnny, because he knew Johnny a little bit, him and Aunt Betty May. And I need to call him and talk to him and say hi,
Yeah.
And I know that we weren't too close through the years, but him and Aunt Betty May would remember stuff. And the last time I saw Uncle Bill was at my mom's funeral. And he was always his comments and stuff were always funny, But they did show up.
He always
for
had
my mom's funeral.
to me.
Your dad showed up for my mom's funeral.
To me, he always had a cold sense of humor. Uncle Bill did.
Yeah.
He never was he never
Jordans.
was what you would call a happy-go-lucky guy towards wanting to be, super like a somebody that was like a comedian or something, or somebody that told a lot of jokes or nothing like that.
Yeah.
He was kind of a raw humor guy.
Yeah. He was
Really raw.
humor.
Really
Yeah,
raw
he
humor.
did have raw humor.
Yeah.
I remember Uncle Bill when I was a little kid. Uncle Bill and Aunt Betty May in their house. I remember a little bit.
Over there in
going
Dyer?
there.
They had a
I
nice
think in
home.
Dyer. Yeah, they did have a nice home.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, him and my dad used to team up and do body work and stuff, and then something went down where somebody got burned, but siblings fight. You know what I'm saying? They were brothers.
Oh yeah.
So it's.
Do you
just
remember
part of
the Do you remember the body shop in Alamo? Whenever Charles, your father, was working in Alamo for years and years, Dad and Danny both plus Carrie and Shane helped over there. I thought you.
That's
No,
right.
it was Monica that helped. Monica, because
Yeah.
you'd done already got married to Bud.
Well, we were actually divorced then. I divorced him. I should have filed for separation. I wasn't given the right advice.
How many years did y'all stay married before you filed for a divorce?
We were married 6, and then we went into common law for about 6. So about 12 years.
You was married to him in 12 years, but you had a
6 years legal and 6 years common law.
But you did actually divorce him?
Yeah, a minister told me to fight, but see, he gave me the wrong advice. And Buddy was trying to tell me that don't listen to him because he's wrong.
Didn't y'all wind up going out to California and living for a while?
No,
You and Buddy?
No, he would go up to Illinois. He didn't like California. He'd go out
You
to
also
Reno,
lived-
Nevada before
You
he
also
went to
lived a while
California.
down there
He'd go
in.
out to California when he was young.
Whenever
his
you
mom would send
whenever
for
you
him.
was just a little girl, you and Charles and Patsy also lived a while down there in Georgia, didn't you? Or you lived in Georgia?
Yeah,
Wasn't there where
we
Julie was
did.
born?
That was stupid. Yeah.
Wasn't
yeah.
Julie born in Georgia?
Yeah, she was born. I almost died in that hospital.
What happened?
It's blood clotting and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I was too young to be having kids. I was 18, so, you know. And Buddy said he thought
Julie was your
Pretty
oldest,
much.
right? Julie's your oldest.
Johnny's my oldest.
Johnny is your oldest.
Yeah, Johnny was born up in Libertyville, and Buddy's mom was there when Johnny
Johnny's
was born.
46.
Buddy's mom was on it. She was Italian, and she was like, "You pieces up." She's
Okay.
like, and they were talking about.
But
putting a needle in
Johnny's
that back, and
46.
She's like, "You don't put no
Johnny
needle
was
in no
46 because
16-year-old."
now he's dead. Johnny's 46. That means Julie must be 44 or 45.
Yeah, they're in their 40s. Yeah, yeah,
And then later on you had Angela.
yeah. I wanted to have another child, so I had.